Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are, no matter what time it is you're watching this. Hello, friend, and welcome to my channel. And if you're an old friend, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are ready because we're doing the last episode of Lewks in the Library X Creative Chaos. Alright, so if you have been following the story, or if you haven't, well, welcome. This is the last installment. This book we are reading is Old Thought Next Door. It's about a 70-plus-year-old woman who likes to be freaky. And, like, when I say freaky, I'm not talking about, like, your average freaky. This woman is freaked out. Like, yeah. So, in the story, we've learned that, 1, she used to have a husband, dead. While he was dying, she hooked up with his nurse from the home, married him. He went off to jail for some specific unknown reason. That's number 1. Number 2, the reason she's so freaky is because she was taking this medicine for like her restless leg or like the beginning stages of Parkinson's. And the side effect was it made her super freaky. So she stopped taking this medicine. Meanwhile, she's been hallucinating on and off, blah, 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 blah. So she stopped taking the medicine. Then all of a sudden, for no reason at all, really, except that she just was missing getting freaky, she took 4 pills at once and had a huge hallucination trip. Like, when I say trip, she was flying, okay? She imagined going over to her friend's house, killing her friend. And then this fool went and told her doctor, I had a vision or, I had like an hallucination where I went and killed my friend. Girl, I wouldn't have told that to nobody. Nobody would have knew but me and Jesus. Anyway, so then they switch up her medication and days go by. She's still hallucinating, still doing this, still doing that. Thank you. Then she ended up hallucinating real bad to the point where she imagined neighbors next door. She also went to the gym and imagined this man who was working for the, quote, neighbors next door who doesn't exist. Ended up being freaky with him and got arrested for that because with nobody there, she was pissing on the floor and you just go back to the previous to figure it out. So boom, that's done. Then come to find out her best friend who she thinks just died like a couple weeks to a month ago, died 5 years ago. It sent me and Key on a Lulu because this book done turned us every way but loose. Fast forward, she's calling her daughter like, who has the body and who's making the arrangements? The daughter's like, girl, what the fuck are you talking about? My mama been dead for years. And then she's like, no, she hasn't. Stop playing with me, blah, blah, blah. Fine. Fast forward a little bit. You remember the guy I told you she was married to after she had her husband die, which we do now know she killed? He pops back up. He had disappeared because he flipped out on her, called her old, and got another bitch pregnant, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward. Now he's in her house forcefully. Gun to her head, shots flying, whatever. He goes in there to force her to pleasure him. She ends up killing him after she gave him the ride of his life. Because it wouldn't be this story without her giving someone the ride of their life before killing them. She kills the man. Bim, bam, boom. Stabbed in the neck. Whatever. Police come. There's this super annoying cop. Super annoying. They told him, leave this case alone, blah, blah, blah. He was like, no, man, I got an inkling. Something's going on with this old-ass lady. Entered her house when she was gone without a warrant. So, to me, being an avid detective because of my many years watching Law and Order, Suits, and things like that, Monk, Psych, I'm a detective. You can't go in that house without a warrant or probable cause. So, to me, everything he gathers is fruit of the poisonous tree. Whatever. Fast forward. The bitch got 3 bodies in her basement, and that's where we kind of left off. So, I'm going to check to see. Okay. My predictions on the 3 bodies. I don't know. For some reason, I'm thinking it's her husband and then 2 random people. I don't know who these could possibly be, but we have found out that she is insane. All right, so before we get into the last juicy bits of this story, This would not be Creative Chaos X Lewks in the Library without my ride-or-die sister girl. So I'm going to let y'all say hello to her. All right, here she go. Y'all say, hey.
Hey, y'all. Is y'all getting ready? Pour your drinks up. Are y'all ready for Creative Chaos Lewks in the Library? Because we almost done, honey.
Very much.
Done. Get into it.
All right. Get your drinks. You know me, I do shots, but I be trying to say that for Make a Monopoly because I don't want to be told up.
That's why you gotta get wine for Creative Chaos.
You're right. I should start doing, you know what? I will place an order to Be Back Liquor. Shout out Be Back Liquor. And I'm going to give me some of this double XL. I have been recommended. The peach is liquor. Liquor. Oh, that's liquor. But he says to try, was it the blackberry?
Yes, the blackberry is my favorite, guys. The blackberry is my favorite one.
All right, so I'm going to try.
I haven't tried them all, but this is the best tasting one so far, and it still get the job done.
So I'm going to get blackberry and I'm going to get mango. So next time, because we already have the next book after this. Next time, we're gonna be classy, and we're going to drink wine out of a solo cup. But if y'all are ready, so am I. All right, so before we get started, actually, today's palettes are going to be from Blend Bunny Cosmetics, the Blends palette, and Danessa Myricks Beauty. I'm going to find some color in here that I like. Let me take a look. Let's see. A color I haven't used. There's so many. Ooh, I'll use Okay, listen. They're also pretty. But I think I'll do Resilient. All right, so let's get ready. Let's get this party started.
The last 2 weeks felt like 2 months. Time moved slower than molasses oozing down a tree. I spent most of my days locked up in my bedroom, catching up on much-needed sleep. There wasn't anything for me to do but sleep. Lisa wasn't fucking with me anymore. No one from the station was returning my phone calls. Even Jake wasn't talking to me. The only person I'd managed to talk to was my daughter, and our brief 15-minute conversation didn't even go over well. Today, however, I was hoping to get some reprieve. I got a phone call from the lieutenant earlier telling me that today I was scheduled to have a meeting with our unit commander, along with the commander from Internal Affairs. I was nervous as shit because this sounded like this was the end of my run in homicide. As much as I was dreading this awful meeting, I was actually relieved because a transfer out of the department was probably what I needed in this particular juncture in my life. The lieutenant didn't give me much input on the exact nature of the meeting. All he told me to do was make sure I dressed as if my job depended on it. So, that being said, I stood in my bathroom mirror, scanning my black suit jacket, making sure I didn't have a single trace of lint on it. I adjusted my maroon tie, making sure I had tied it correctly. I couldn't even remember the last time I put on a tie. I checked myself one last time in the mirror, then made my way out of the apartment to my car. About 20 minutes later, I arrived at the station, ready to get this shit over with. As I made my way out of the car, I threw some sunglasses on, adjusted my suit, and slowly walked through the parking lot, already envisioning a future in traffic enforcement. It was a somewhat warm Wednesday afternoon, and the heat beaming from the sun was making my underarms sweat profusely. This was exactly why I hated dressing up in professional attire. Shit was very uncomfortable. I didn't understand how other detectives and other higher-ups dressed this way all the time. My meeting with the lieutenant, the unit commander, along with Internal Affairs, was scheduled to start in 5 minutes, over in the east wing of the building where the Internal Affairs Division was located. I strolled into the office and made my way over to the conference room. I walked inside and was immediately hit with the presence of everyone. "Good morning, gentlemen." I greeted them and then tightened my lips. "Have a seat, detective." Commander Orwell replied back, enthusiastically with this Joker-like smile. He was an older white man, probably in his early 60s. Everything about him was tight. His face, his stiff hair, the weird slits he had for eyes, even his posture. Everything about him reeked asshole, and I knew he was going to tear me a new one. I glanced over at the lieutenant along with our unit commander, Commander Jenkins. They didn't say shit to me. Both men, two stern-looking brothers, just gave me a menacing stare. That was my cue to not say shit else. Sit the fuck down and let the bullshit begin. As soon as I sat down, Commander Jenkins, a nigga who almost reminded me of Denzel Washington, cleared his throat and said, "Detective Colvin, we brought you in because we want to discuss a number of things. principally your future with the Chicago Police Department. This is another reason why Commander Orwell from Internal Affairs is here. I understand, sir, I replied, somewhat nervous. Good. I'm glad you do, Commander Jenkins said. But before we get started, we wanted to give you some updates into the situation with Miss Washington and the 3 bodies discovered in her residence. I'm glad to hear. Is she a lead suspect? I asked. No, not at all, Detective Colvin. And for that reason, this is why you are here. You broke a number of laws and department protocols, one of them being using department resources to conduct your own outside investigation. An investigation that netted absolutely nothing of value.
Hello?
He continued. In your absence, the rest of our law-abiding police detectives, along with the assistance of the FBI, conducted some very awesome investigative work. And in just an hour, we are announcing that we have a suspect, actually several, in our investigation.
Okay.
Although I couldn't see myself,
I can't take
my
much more
face
of
fell
this.
flat, and the anxiety I already had in me was now turned up to level 10. Detective, the suspect in your original investigation, Percival Andrews, I understand you were convinced that he was an innocent man, and that Miss Washington, who unfortunately now is hospitalized and whose health is rapidly declining, must have killed him. Do I understand this correctly? I didn't like where any of this was going, and this motherfucker was already drawing up several conclusions that I hadn't even yet arrived. Sir, I had an inkling that Miss Washington wasn't telling the full truth about what happened that night, the night she alleged Mr. Andrews physically assaulted and raped her. I would have further pursued the case based on several details, but I looked over at Lieutenant. But my superior officer informed me that I needed to close the case. And yes, I admit that I overstepped my boundaries, but I was getting closer to the truth. Well, with all due respect, Detective, you were far from the truth. Mr. Andrews, along with his longtime partner and confidant, Markel Jacobs, were part of a large burglary ring, and unfortunately, they took advantage of Ms. Washington. How? I was confused. Were you aware that Miss Washington had recently been diagnosed with a severe neurological complication?
Wait.
No.
Hold on.
No, I wasn't aware.
Yes, she did.
Yes. Miss Washington suffers from stage 3 dementia. She had no real
Alexa,
relationship.
pause.
Outside her house, before he even went in there to go check her house,
Right.
he said she's showing signs of dementia.
But is there even a such thing as stage 3 dementia? I'm finna Google it. I'm Googling because this story has gotten on my last effing nerve with its inaccuracies. There's no such thing. Stage 3 dementia. Oh, wait, there's a stage 3? Well, I was loud and wrong. Alexa, play.
With Mr. Andrews, other than the fact that he'd check on her from time to time while he and others took advantage of her. She also suffers from severe hallucinations. Family friends would come and check on her from time to time, but for the most part, Miss Washington had no idea what was going on behind her back. She's a completely innocent victim in all of this. I'm confused, sir. She seemed very lucid to me when I spoke to her. How did her condition just suddenly deteriorate? Detective, let me make this very clear. Miss Washington has nothing to do with what I'm about to tell you. The 3 bodies found in her basement were also associates of Mr. Andrews and Mr. Jacobs. Rhodessa and Ricky Clark were a married couple. They were well-known drug traffickers from the Memphis area and had recently moved to Chicago some years ago. Also, another associate of theirs, Juan Gonzalez, was a part of this burglary ring. We were able to use forensics to ID all of these bodies, luckily. Mr. Gonzalez used a moving company to stake out houses. We've also arrested several individuals associated with the moving company. As for our lead suspect, Mr. Jacobs, the FBI apprehended him in Atlanta. He's on his way back to Chicago as we speak, Commander Jenkins explained. Wow, I'm shocked. I just don't know what to say, I replied. I was stunned. I didn't see any of this coming. I was just at a loss of words. So,
Dummy.
I assume then that this case is closed? I asked. Yes, this case is officially closed. Great work done.
The one time I started my face first.
Relationship with Mr. Andrews, other than the fact that he'd check on her from time to time while he and others took advantage of her. She also suffered.
So if y'all know she got stage 3 dementia, why y'all letting her walk around all normal? Lock her ass up.
Hallucinations. Family friends would come and check on her from time to time, but for the most part, Miss Washington had no idea what was going on behind her back. She's a completely innocent victim in all of this. I'm confused, sir. She seemed very lucid to me when I spoke to her. How did her condition just suddenly deteriorate? Detective, let me make this very clear. Miss Washington has nothing to do with what I'm about to tell you. The 3 bodies found in her basement were also associates of Mr. Andrews and Mr. Jacobs. Rhodessa and Ricky Clark were a married couple. They were well-known drug traffickers from the Memphis area and had recently moved to Chicago some years ago. Also, another associate of theirs, Juan Gonzalez, was a part of this burglary ring. We were able to use forensics to ID all of these bodies, luckily. Mr. Gonzalez used a moving company to stake out houses. We've also arrested several individuals associated with the moving company. As for our lead suspect, Mr. Jacobs, the FBI apprehended him in Atlanta. He's on his way back to Chicago as we speak, Commander Jenkins explained. Wow, I'm shocked. I just don't know what to say, I replied. I was stunned. I didn't see any of this coming. I was just at a loss of words. So, I assume then that this case is closed? I asked. Yes, this case is officially closed. Great work done, of course, by our law-abiding homicide detective, Commander Orwell replied. And on that note, we need to secure this conversation to your future with the Chicago Police Department, Detective Colvin. Can we please have your badge and gun?
Yeah, lock me there.
Flung wide open. Why? Because effective today, you are terminated from the Chicago Police Department, uttered Commander Orwell. And you are also ineligible to receive your pension.
Ooh.
Just count yourself lucky that you aren't sitting up in a jail cell. Chapter 33.
As he
Detective
should
Mike
be.
Colvin. A year later. Mike, this is my 3rd time telling you that you have to get in the corners. You have to dig deep and pull back all the equipment. This shouldn't be that difficult. I found a roach in the corner this morning. If the regional manager would have come by and did an inspection, you could have cost me my job. Rachel, this nasty fat white bitch, was once again grilling me for not doing an effective job at cleaning the kitchen. A year after I got fired, I had an extremely difficult time finding a place that would hire me. In exchange for receiving at least a partial pension, which I wouldn't have access to until I turned 60, I had to agree to not use the police department as a reference. That pretty much disbarred me from getting security gigs and shit. So, with no other real experience, I ended up working as a line cook at this whack-ass hipster vegan barbecue restaurant up on the north side.
Alexa, pause. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. He deserved every single piece of this. It's what you get. Alexa, play.
Silly-ass concept. I hated this fucking place with a passion, too. Only reason why I took a job here was because these crackers were paying close to $20 an hour. Their food tasted like shit. Sorry, Rachel. I'll do better next time. I apologize, as I stood there feeling pathetic as fuck. Unfortunately, Mike, there isn't a next time. I'm gonna have to let you go. Can you please go ahead and clock out for me? What? All because I missed one spot? Mike, that one spot could have gotten us in trouble with the city. And please, lower your voice. We have customers in here now. I looked around and noticed that a few people were staring at us. I didn't give a fuck, though. This fat bitch was just looking for an excuse to get rid of me. I knew her chunky, spoiled milk-smelling ass didn't like me from the moment she laid eyes on me. Man, fuck this job and fuck you.
Ooh, well.
I yanked the hat off my head and apron off my shoulders, balled them up and threw them onto the floor. Make sure you send me my check in the mail, too. Mike, get out! Now! Screamed Rachel as she pointed toward the exit of the restaurant. Bitch, you ain't gotta tell me twice. This place sucks any fucking damn way. Who the fuck eats vegan barbecue? Weird ass white folks. I stormed around the kitchen counter and made my way outside toward my piece of shit Elantra. Since I got let go from CPD, I sold my Charger and downgraded to a used Hyundai with 80,000 miles on it. I hopped in and chucked up the engine. I needed a fucking cigarette to cool my nerves. I slapped a Newport in my mouth, lit up and sped out of the parking lot. Bitch ass motherfuckers. An hour later, I was back at my apartment. Once inside the building, I walked up to my unit and saw I had a 7-day notice from my landlord. I was late on rent once again. I checked my bank account earlier and only had $500 to my name. Ain't no way in the hell I was going to be able to come up with $1,200 to pay my rent this month. I needed to hit up someone to borrow some cash, but I didn't even know who I was going to bother to call. I virtually had no one to rely on. In fact, no one from CPD was fucking with me anymore. A part of me wanted to call my ex-wife and ask her if she could help me out. She came to my aid not too long ago for some other stuff, but her new bitch-ass husband, Mark, gave her grief. I yanked the notice off the door, then rushed inside my apartment. I couldn't believe this was my life, all because I simply was trying to do the right fucking thing. Every day I woke up, I relived the entire day those bodies were discovered in that old bitch's house. I just couldn't believe that I was so fucking off. As crazy as it sounded, I still had that hunch. Something wasn't adding up. But I had to shake that shit out of my head and figure out how I was going to get this money to pay my rent this month. So, with no other choice and no time to waste, the next best thing I could do was sell a few electronics I had up in the house. Hopefully that would put hundreds of dollars in my hands once I listed these shits on Craigslist. I had a flat screen TV in the living room, another one in my bedroom. Then I had 2 old laptops that I currently wasn't using. I also had 2 old iPhones. I flew into my bedroom and began looking for the laptops. Last I remembered, I put them in my closet. I dug through boxes tucked away in the back of the closet, but as soon as I pulled out the 2 laptops, my eyes widened with surprise when I realized I still had Miss Washington's MacBook.
Oh my God, don't do
I forgot I even still had the shit up in my house.
Do not do this.
Shit, how did I forget that? Then again, since that day I was fired, my life had went through so much turmoil that the last thing I had on my mind was the fucking laptop. Then on top of that, with all the guys that got busted for that burglary ring, there was really no point in digging any deeper into Miss Washington. But there was just something about everything I couldn't let go. There was something. Pausing for a moment, I looked at the side of the laptop and thought maybe I could find a charger on Amazon or an electronics store to power this shit on. I pulled out my cell phone, went to Amazon.com, and searched for a charger that may have been compatible. To my luck, I found one, a used one that was going to take about 3 weeks to get here if I ordered it now. A debate went off in my head. Just let it go, Mike, just let it go. The case is over. You're not a cop anymore. The case is closed. Nah, nigga. This is the case of a lifetime. That bitch is shady as shit. Fuck it, I groaned once I hit the order button. Now back to other personal business. I scrambled to get all the electronics I could sell. An hour later, I was getting hit up left and right from motherfuckers off Craigslist. Thank God, because getting evicted would drive me over the edge.
That's where you need to be.
2 weeks later, the package from Amazon arrived. As soon as the driver dropped off the package, like a maniac man, I rushed downstairs to the stoop, grabbed the package, and then ran back up to my unit. Once inside, I quickly opened the package and then made my way over to my desk where I kept the laptop. The blot of blood was still visible on the back of the laptop, and that was still very much evidence in the event something useful was on this laptop. I plugged the charger into the laptop and pressed the power button, hoping the MacBook would turn on. The keyboard lit up. Yes! Within seconds, the desktop popped up. Damn, Miss Washington didn't even bother to password protect her damn computer. Then again, that wasn't surprising, and there probably was no need for her to do that. The desktop was virtually empty. She had 2 folders, one titled Finances and another was titled Webcam. I clicked the Finances folder and immediately a bunch of PDF files popped up. I opened them one by one. It was a combination of bank statements, credit card statements, bills, and receipts she saved just to have electronic documentation. Damn, for an elderly woman, I didn't think the old hag would be technologically inclined enough to keep everything on a laptop. Then I stumbled upon 3 separate life insurance policies. My eyes widened with shock when I saw the amount of money that had been paid out to her. She had as much as 3 $1 million policies. I jetted back over to her bank statements and became even more surprised once I took a deeper dive into her bank accounts. This woman was rolling in some serious cash. Shit was making me so damn angry. Here I was, my entire life ruined over her ass, and apparently she was languishing away in some nursing home sitting on millions of dollars. Such fucking bullshit. With nothing else of importance to look at, I closed out of the folder and scrolled over to the webcam folder. I opened it up and was immediately slapped with what looked like thousands of recordings, all coming from the small camera embedded in the top center of the laptop screen. I chuckled, wondering what in the hell this woman was recording. I clicked on one video and let it play. 20 seconds in, all Miss Washington was doing was clicking away at the computer screen, talking to herself. Nothing important. She was just rambling to herself. There had to be something in these videos. So now that I was unemployed and not really thirsty to begin another job search just yet, I made up in my mind that I was going to spend however long possible to go through all these videos. They all went back to 2015.
The worst for him.
Why was she recording herself, though?
Because she's crazy.
Seemed kind of odd, but then maybe she clicked on something inside the computer that turned the camera on, and she was unknowingly recording herself. 2 days later, and virtually getting little sleep, I was now about 600 videos in. Every day, Miss Washington had the same routine. She'd log in and just stare away at the computer. Every now and then, it seemed like she was talking to herself. It was about 10 a.m. in the morning, and I was fucking starving. I got up out of the bed, holding the laptop in one hand as I trekked down the hallway into my kitchen. My eyes glued onto the computer screen, and the volume cranked all the way up. I made myself a bowl of cereal with one hand, then went into the living room. With nothing on but some boxers, I sat the computer down on the coffee table.
Congratulations to this author for making the most irritating
one of these videos
character.
would give me some deeper clues into this woman's life. I clicked the next video, and this time, she seemed different. Looked like she was crying, but she didn't seem sad or depressed. She seemed enraged, like she had just got done cursing someone out. She was rocking back and forth in her computer chair, mumbling to herself. I could barely make out what she was saying, so I quickly placed a bowl of cereal down on the coffee table, grabbed the laptop, then held my ear up to the speaker. Don't feel bad, Vanita. Don't feel bad. Just calm down. It had to be done. It had to be done. That nigga slept around and fucked your best friend. Fuck him. Fuck him. He was gonna die anyways. What the fuck? I sat there in complete shock. And yeah, I killed that hoe too. Both of them motherfuckers can be together now. In hell. Fuck Clarence and fuck Alice. Gonna have a motherfucking baby behind my back. All this time I trusted that motherfucker, and this is what he do to me? Fuck them both. And fuck Sade. Fuck them all. So this is from not now dime out of me.
Alexa,
nothing.
Pause. So this is from when she hallucinated killing Alice, right?
Maybe, but maybe the reason why she hallucinated killing Alice is because she did. Because remember, her hallucination of her killing Alice never happened in that time period because Alice has been dead for 5 years. But maybe
it's just jumbled.
5 years ago.
Come on, Kimani. We're on to it.
Like, maybe that's what happened 5 years ago when Alice died.
Okay. All right. Alexa, play.
Mm-hmm.
Can get all the money she can from her sorry-ass husband, Lamar. Sorry-ass nigga. Couldn't even survive in the NBA. I went back and replayed everything she said. Once I confirmed everything I just heard, I shot up from the seat, grabbed a pen and piece of paper and wrote down the names Clarence, Alice, Sade, and Lamar. I clicked off the video, then searched her computer for each individual name. Clarence's name was found in several documents, most of which related to money and life insurance. That was obvious, though, since that was her husband. But who in the fuck was Alice? She said that was her best friend. I looked up Alice in the search bar, and the only thing that came up were 2 PDF files. I opened it, and it turned out to be Southwest airline tickets. One was for Miss Washington. The other was for an Alice Brown. Made sense. They were friends and were probably going on vacation together. I looked closely. They were flying to Fort Lauderdale. I opened the second PDF file. This time I was staring at cruise tickets. But then something else struck me as odd. I further scrolled down the PDF file and saw there was another cruise ticket attached. It was for a Jarquarius Miller. I wrote down that name as well. I looked back at the video and jotted down the date of the video. It was from September 5th, 2014. I pulled out my phone and typed in Alice Brown, obituary, Chicago. A few results came up. I clicked on the first result and was taken to a website belonging to R&R Funeral Home right here in Chicago. I saw a picture of an older, fair-skinned woman who looked like she was probably in her mid to late 60s. The obituary read, Brown Alice, 67 years. Peacefully passed into eternal life on September 5th, 2014. Loving mother of Sharday Tompkins, Paul Tompkins, and Janice Tompkins. Dearest grandmother of several grandchildren. Alice was a lifelong resident of Bronzeville, Chicago, Illinois. An avid bingo player. She loved her trips to the Bahamas, Jamaica, and Florida. She'll be greatly missed, but we know she is resting in the sweet arms of Jesus. Oh shit. Oh shit. I knew it. I knew it was something to this fucking old bitch. She fucking killed her friend. I couldn't contain myself as I started pacing the living room floor. I didn't know what it was, but my gut feeling told me to look into this Jarquarius Miller name. I typed his name into my search bar on my phone, and the first fucking thing that popped up was an article from ABC7. Then everything fucking gelled together. This little nigga was charged in an armed robbery and home invasion that resulted in the death of Alice Brown. There was video evidence of him pushing her down the stairs inside of her house. Then it hit me. I remembered this case. I didn't work this case, but everything was coming back to me. In fact, this was a case that Candace herself had worked. Fuck. I had it in me to call Candace, but unfortunately...
Pause. So while we do this, I really do wish the worst for him.
Now. I just turned it back.
I wish the worst for him.
I do wish the worst for him.
The worst. Hear me, Zion. Alexa, play.
Fortunately, both of us were fired and she stopped talking to me. I glanced back at my phone and saw another article. Inmate killed in riot at Joliet Prison. I clicked it and read this nigga was killed in prison. Joliet Prison. Joliet Prison. Joliet Prison. There was someone else who went to Joliet Prison.
Percy!
Then this entire puzzle came beautifully together.
To
As
prison.
mysterious as it sounded, it all pieced together in my head. This had to make sense. It sounded crazy, but I could see it all playing out in my head now. Percival Andrews was at Joliet Prison too. He was there for 5 years. Miss Washington probably found out her husband was sleeping around on her years ago with her best friend, Miss Alice Brown. She probably found out and commissioned Mr. Andrews to kill Alice Brown. Miss Washington probably then used Jarquarius to kill Alice. But why would they go on a cruise? Oh, because he was going to push her over the cruise ship. But then that fell through. So he broke into her house and pushed her down the stairs.
So we're
He was probably
reaching.
going to snitch on Miss Washington, but Mr. Andrews decided to take matters into his own hands. That was why Miss Clark said he was such an outstanding citizen. He fucking set himself up to get arrested and serve time in prison to get at Jarquarius. I stood in the middle of the living room, stunned. Completely stunned that I may have just solved the craziest crime ever. And it all made sense. Miss Washington didn't want Sharday, the secret love child, to get her hands on Clarence's life insurance money. Either I was completely crazy or the smartest man alive.
Completely crazy,
Silent.
Alex.
I stood there thinking about everything that happened over the year. My eyes became watery. I lost so much thinking how my detective hunches were both blessings and curses. I solved a lot of cases. I brought closure to a lot of families. But there were times I was wrong. Completely wrong. In this case, Even with the video confession of Miss Washington, was this even real proof she committed a crime? I had no other evidence. Shaking my head, I grabbed the laptop off the coffee table, clicked out of the video, and then scrolled through what had to be at least 100 more videos. I clicked a random video and let it play. I saw Miss Washington once again at her computer, clicking and typing away. She had reading glasses hanging over her nose. Then out of nowhere, I could hear a deep voice shout out, "Where you at, bitch? You ready for some dick?"
Oh my God.
I gasped once I saw none other than Mr. Andrews walk into the room in the background. This nigga was completely naked, and his dick was already hard. "Hell yeah, I'm ready for some dick," Miss Washington laughed. "Bring that dick over here." Mr. Andrews got closer and closer, and once he was a few inches away from Miss Washington's face, she spun her head around, grabbed his dick, and stuffed it down her mouth. Oh, shit. Without thinking and completely blown away from what I just saw, I dropped the computer on the ground. I blanked out for a second, but then I quickly looked down and saw that the computer literally shattered into 3 pieces.
Good.
No.
Excellent.
No.
Excellent.
Yes, it's what you deserve.
Chapter 34.
We
Detective
don't
Mike
him, but
Colvin.
we hate him.
I couldn't let this shit go. I refused to let this woman get away with multiple murders. Blood was on her hands. I didn't give a fuck if she was damn near 80. Wrong was wrong, and she was gonna pay for what the fuck she did. Call me paranoid, call me delusional, call me whatever the fuck you wanted. But I had everything solved. Unfortunately, no proof. I was gonna get proof, though. I knew that what I was about to do would get this woman to confess. It was a crazy idea, but I knew I was gonna get my motherfucking proof. On a semi-sunny late Sunday morning, I strolled through the Orland Hills nursing home to pay my dear friend, Miss Washington, a visit. I checked in at the visitor's desk and was told Miss Washington was currently at the chapel for church service. From the sound of it, I thought the chapel would have been some separate space on the nursing home's ground, but I was told it was just a conference room on the opposite side of the building. Once I got directions to the chapel, I made my way over there. As I walked closer and closer, I could hear the rumbling of gospel music pour out into the corridor. I'm coming up on the rough path of the mountain.
Yeah.
Now that song right there was some old school country gospel music. I ain't heard that since I was a little boy when my grandma used to drag my ass to church. Boy, did I miss those days. Didn't have a care in the world. Not even a single responsibility. I'd spend my summers down in Mississippi fucking all the country hoes.
Oh my God.
I stood near the frame of the door and peered in. There were about a good 5 or 6 people in attendance. I scanned the room and there Miss Washington was, slightly bobbing her head as she sat in a wheelchair. A voluptuous black woman with a jerry curl dressed in a purple polka dot dress was at the front of the room near a podium blowing her pipes to the gospel song. Gosh, she sounded so horrible. But she was good enough to get the elders in attendance moving to the tune. Soon as the woman finished the song, she prayed, then concluded the church service. A young Latina woman dressed in nursing scrubs who sat off in the corner walked over to Miss Washington and began to roll her out of the room. Miss Washington looked completely gone. She was just a mere shell of herself. The nurse wheeled Miss Washington closer to the door, and I just stood there hoping the woman would instantly recognize me. Feet away, Miss Washington lifted her head and her eyes instantly widened. Although apparently her dementia by now was severe, that look in her eyes let me know she still remembered who the fuck I was. Nathaniel! It's my brother, Nathaniel! Miss Washington reached her arms out toward me. No, Miss Washington, that's not your brother. The nurse laughed, then looked at me. Sorry about that. She does that from time to time. I actually am related to her. I can take her back to her room if you want. Oh, are you? How are you all related? I'm actually her brother's grandson. I'm Mike. Nice to meet you, I said, extending my hand out to the nurse. Wait. I'm so glad Miss Washington has company today. Her goddaughter just stopped by not too long ago, and she brought these good brownies. They were so good. You just missed her, actually. And yes, you can take her back to her room. But actually, after church, I usually take Miss Washington for a walk outside in the park. Oh, okay, well, I can do that too. I said, producing the fakest smile. Oh, great. I need my lunch break already. I'm hungry. Thank you so much, the nurse said, then took off down the hallway. I leaned down into Miss Washington's ear and whispered, Let's go for a walk, my favorite great aunt, Vernita. We got a lot to discuss, don't we? Nathaniel, you brought some of them ribs for me. Boy, you know I loves me some rib tips. How is Pauline doing?
What do you think is going to happen?
Miss Washington squeezed out through her parched lips.
Pause.
She is so far gone, they're not going to lock her up. They're not putting that woman in jail. You wasting your time. You wasting everybody's time.
Right. Arthur could have kept this narrative.
You know, for real. So,
Anyways, Alexa, play.
Not saying anything back to her. I rode her down the hallway and then we made our way outside into an open courtyard park. The nursing home had a nice, well-paved trail with a quaint Japanese garden centered in the middle. A few other nursing home residents were outside, and they too were accompanied by nurses and others who were probably friends or family members. As I kept pushing Miss Washington, she kept rambling off at the mouth, talking about people who I didn't know anything about. We got toward a part of the trail where there was a cement picnic table along with matching stone chairs. I rolled Miss Washington next to the table and then sat down in one of the seats. Pauline made some good chitlins, too. She make 'em spicy. I want some hog-head cheese. Did you bring any with you, Nathaniel? Bitch, stop playing fucking games with me.
Oh my God.
You must think I'm stupid. Pardon me. Don't use that language around me, Nathaniel. I'ma tell Mama. I know you killed your husband. And you killed Alice. You killed Percy, too. You even had Percy to kill that boy in prison. Nathaniel, stop it. Stop right now. I pulled out a flash drive and stuck it in Miss Washington's face. You thought you were slick. You don't have fucking dementia. You're faking it. The moment those bodies were found, you started faking it. I know you are. But you are really fucking slick. Miss Washington's eyes exploded with shock and her mouth hung open. What's that? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh yeah? You know what the fuck I'm talking about now, bitch. This is what we call a flash drive. I got a hold of your laptop down in your basement and went through all those webcam videos. I spent weeks combing through your shit and then discovered all of your videos. I went through each fucking video and stumbled upon that video confession of yours. Then I saw the airline tickets, the cruise tickets. It didn't take me long to figure it out, bitch. I dug my index finger into my temple. I'm a genius. I'm good at what the fuck I do. From the moment I laid eyes on your crazy ass, I knew you were on some other shit. Yeah, you may have some health issues. You might be hallucinating here and there, but your ass ain't demented. You are very much conscious of what the fuck is going on. Take me back to my room right now, Miss Washington screamed out. Then she started yelling for help, but her cracking voice could barely get loud enough to grab someone's attention. You can scream all you want, Miss Washington. I growled as I stood up and began to walk away. But I'm sending this over to the police, ASAP. Truth be told, the flash drive was completely empty. I was just using it as a rouse to see how she'd respond. Okay, so you got me. You figured it out.
Vernita.
Yep. I killed Clarence. I had Percy to poison him. And then I had one of my older little boo things to kill that fat-ass bitch, Alice. I'd be damned if her and her raggedy-ass daughter were gonna get their claws on my motherfucking money. Especially considering all the shit I had to put up with Clarence. And yeah, I killed Percy's ass. After I found out what he and Markel were doing behind my back. Those slick niggas thought I was dumb. They were playing all sorts of games on me. So what the fuck you gonna do? Have me arrested? Put me in prison? You are a bitch-ass nigga for even digging through my shit like that. But who would believe you? Baby, I got the dementia. I have a tumor in my brain. And I have psychotic hallucinations. Nothing that comes out of my mouth can be trusted. Shit, sometimes I don't even trust my own self. I don't even know what's real or not real. I slowly turned around. Mouth dropped out of shock. I just kept shaking my head. Yep, See?
Unless you
I
bought a
knew it.
recorder.
Honestly, Renita,
Right.
I don't want to put you in prison. You've already lived out your life. So what the fuck you want from me then? You hoe-ass nigga? Let me guess.
Money.
Money? Because I know your dumb ass lost your job, meddling in places where you didn't belong. Now that you mention it, you damn right I want money. How much? I want $250,000. That's all I need to get up out of the current jam I'm in. I don't even want to go back to work. Fuck that bullshit-ass job. Miss Washington went quiet, and her breathing became hard. Fine then, but on one condition. What's that? Give me some dick. I scrunched my face in surprise. What? From who? Oh yeah, this bitch was really out of her fucking mind. Fuck this shit. I needed to walk the fuck away right now and just drop everything. Yeah, Detective Colvin, you heard me right. I'll scratch your back and you scratch mine. You give me some dick, and I'll give you all the money you need. Besides, since you've seen the videos, you know what I'm capable of. I want some dick. I've been up in this nursing home now for a year, playing with my pussy at night, and I'm sick of it. I want some dick. Bitch, you are crazy.
You
I
know,
thought that her idea.
black people.
Baby,
Don't
this
put
is
that
all
away.
an act. I still got some sense in me. Now look here. If you want the money, you're gonna have to do right by me and give me some dick.
Oh my God.
So what the fuck you gonna do? I stood there for a second, shaking my head. Are you serious right now?
He gonna do it.
That's all you want?
He gonna
And
do
you
it.
will give me the money? Yes! I'm serious, motherfucker. Now what you gonna do?
What you
I don't know. And all I would have to do is fuck you once? Yep. I'm not playing either. From the moment I laid eyes on you, I knew you was working with some serious wood.
Oh God.
I knew I was gonna ride that motherfucker one day too. And wow, looks like the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Alexa, pause. What we not gonna sit up here and do is continue to bring my Lord and Savior, Jesus Devontae Christ, into this. She is not going to glory. She's in the bottom of hell, being chewed on incessantly by Satan. Alexa, play.
She laughed her ass off as she sat in that wheelchair. Now that I thought about it, did this old bitch even need a wheelchair? Was this all part of her act?
Of course.
Shaking my head in silence, disgust gripping my insides, I knew I really didn't have absolute proof of her crimes, other than this verbal confession. And even if I wanted to use what I found on her laptop as evidence, the truth was I technically stole the laptop out of her house, and any evidence found on the laptop would have been thrown out of court. However, Ms. Washington didn't need to know that. Neither did she need to know that the laptop was broken. And if all I had to do was fuck her once to get this cash, then goddammit I might just take her up on her offer. What the fuck are you doing, nigga? Really? Are you that desperate for money?
Yes.
My conscience was eating me the fuck alive.
Now, I may have had to
I was
listen
really
to the
considering
offer.
this as an option. But with no real job prospects and bill collectors calling me all the fucking time, what the fuck did I have to lose?
Your dignity.
I took a deep stare at Ms. Washington and almost wanted to throw up knowing that I had to put my dick up in her just to get some money. This was some worthless ass shit. But at this juncture in my life, a nigga
So
had to do what he had to
wait.
do.
Alexa, pause. Sade is her stepdaughter then.
Yes.
So that part was true. She had a boo.
Yes, I feel like all of this is true. She's just remembering it in present tense. That's what her dimension's doing.
Look at God. Alrighty. Alexa, play.
So fuck it. Besides,
And the question is,
who's gonna know about it any damn way?
I don't think Sade knows.
Okay, well, where do you want to do this? I asked, ready to get this party started. I probably needed to get high as fuck and drunk just to even do the shit. Sign me out of this nursing home and we can get a room at the Holiday Inn up the street. I pass by it every day when they take us on our day trips. Okay, Let's go then. But I just want to know one thing. Just tell me, was I right? Ever? Ms. Washington tilted her head to the side, then smiled. You got it right, sweetheart. Now go on and roll me back to my room so I can get my belongings. You smoke reefer, by the way? I might just start today. And when we get in the car, I want to stop by the liquor store to get me some Hennessy. I walked over to her and began rolling her down the trail. Good, because I'm going to need to get fucking drunk to do this. Boy, don't do me like that. Don't knock what you haven't tried yet.
Oh, God.
Chapter 35. Vernita. Child, life was so crazy. After Mr. Colvin agreed to break me off some dick in exchange for minding his motherfucking business, he snuck me out of the nursing facility, and now we were making our way over to this Holiday Inn not too far away from the nursing home. It sure was nice outside today, too. God was showing up and showing out, you hear me?
Girl.
After we hopped in the car, as I requested, we made a first stop at a nearby liquor store so I could get me a bottle of peach Hennessy and a pack of Russian Crim backwoods. Soon as we got in the car, I popped that bottle open and went straight to drinking. I couldn't wait to get some of that brown liquor down my throat. Baby, I hadn't had me a good drink in nearly a year. And child, I had a big bag of reefer I was gonna light up once we got inside the room. From time to time, I'd convince Jarvis, one of the young boys who worked up at the nursing home, to buy me some green. He was reluctant at first, but I paid him extra to help poor Miss Vernita out. Looking out the window, I was starting to feel like I was on cloud number 9. I was feeling so good right about now. I couldn't believe how it seemed like everything fell into place.
I hate this story.
Although
so much.
Mr. Colvin was one shady motherfucker, I couldn't help but take advantage of the situation. He just better do right by me and give me what I want. If not,
there are
I
only
already
22
had a
minutes
backup
left
plan
in this
for
story.
his ass. If he backed out on me or if the dick ended up being trash, I was gonna accuse him of raping me. Nigga thought I was dumb, but I was pretty sure he had a backup plan in case things didn't quite pan out the way he expected. These brownies sure is good. I didn't even think Sade's ugly ass could bake like that. I mumbled as I tore through these gooey double chocolate fudge pecan brownies she whipped up for me. I reopened the Tupperware container sitting on my lap and then asked Mr. Colvin if he wanted one. Sitting behind the steering wheel of the car, he looked over at me and gave me a firm no. You sure? You might need to put a little something in your stomach before you dig up in this juice box.
Okay.
Baby, I can fuck for hours, I told him. I'm sure, he responded nonchalantly, keeping his eyes attached to the road. He better change up that mood real quick and get some pep in his voice. Since we'd been in his car, he had been pretty silent. I could tell he was uncomfortable with the idea of giving me some dick, but he was gonna learn today that an old nasty bitch like me can suck and fuck just like any of these young hoes out here in the streets. And since he was gonna get this money from me, he better be ready for a fuckathon.
Okay.
Okay then, I'ma finish out the rest of these brownies cause that food at the nursing home is nasty as shit, I said as I pulled out another brownie and began munching away. I was just so surprised Sade could bake. Since I had been in the nursing home, Sade had been visiting me more often to check up on me. I felt kind of bad because obviously I had to play up that I was really out of my mind. We couldn't have normal conversations and talk about her life, her kids, and what she had going on with Lamar. Gosh, these brownies sure was good. Too bad her mammy wasn't alive because I just knew her fat ass would have loved these brownies.
Okay.
Child, that heifer was capable of eating an entire pan of brownies by herself. Rotten ass hoe. To this day, I still couldn't believe she and Clarence fucked around with each other behind my back. Then the bitch got pregnant. That was so hurtful, especially considering I couldn't have kids. That would drive any woman to go crazy. That type of betrayal would never leave my memory. I thought about what they did to me every goddamn day. And that was probably why I kept hallucinating all that shit despite the fact that I got rid of her ass and Clarence years back. Motherfuckers. So you just gonna keep faking it until you die? Mr. Colvin asked. Why does it matter to you? How do you live with yourself knowing you did what the fuck you did? He came to a stoplight, then looked at me. You better not try to off me too, he said as he pulled up his shirt and revealed his gun. My eyes widened out of fear. I should have seen that coming. I don't want to hear none of that right now, Mr. Colvin. I just want to feel good. I haven't felt good in nearly a year. Now please, no more of that negative talk. You killing the vibe. Yeah, whatever. You just better make sure I have my money. Hush up now. You'll get your money. Yeah, but I still want to know why. Just because your husband slept behind your back with your friend? And what about Mr. Andrews? Yeah, I done did some things. Crazy things at that, but that was only when you crossed me the wrong way. Now please, I don't want to talk about none of that right now. He just shook his head and kept his eyes on the road. Baby, let me tell you something. Life was surely a roller coaster. I have had my fair share of ups and downs. I've had plenty of good times and obviously a lot of bad times. Nevertheless, nothing was gonna ever stop me from living my best life. Now, I knew something wasn't right with me. Turned out the tumor had grown a bit bigger. The hallucinations I had been experiencing had become more intense, and even my memory went to shit. Those medications weren't helping either. However, by the grace of God,
Please!
I knew deep down inside nothing was seriously wrong with me.
Leave my God.
That day I passed out in the parking garage, I swore my life had descended into absolute chaos. Once again, those doctors got their hands all over me and began diagnosing me with all sorts of ailments. I would have fought my way out of that hospital, but when I found out that the police and the FBI had been all up in my home, it was best for me to play into being sick and demented. And I had been doing just that for the past year, to keep those motherfuckers out of my business. Obviously, except for Mr. Colvin. And now that Mr. Colvin knew about all the skeletons buried deep up in my closet, I'd be damned if I was gonna go out spending the rest of my days shacked up in some prison cell. No, ma'am. Ain't nobody got time for that. Mr. Colvin could try to guilt trip me all he wanted, but I had not a single bone of remorse in my body. Like I said before, they should have never done me what they did to me. How dare Clarence sleep behind my motherfucking back and have a baby with my best friend? And as far as that raggedy fat hoe, yeah, I paid that little boy to push that fat bitch down the stairs. And when his little dumbass got slick and threatened to snitch on me, I had Percy get his ass. And Percy, well, honestly, some things I just couldn't remember in detail. I think that night I killed him, I had been hallucinating. Honey, my memory was shot to shit now. But I could tell you right now, the only thing that was real was the prospect of getting my walls tore up.
Oh, God.
You seem a tad nervous. You nervous? I asked, chuckling. I won't bite, I promise. I might be almost 80 years old, but this pussy don't act like it. You ever been with an older woman? I asked Mr. Colvin. He shook his head no. Well, there's a first time for everything, I said to him.
Matter of fact, lock her up.
2 minutes later, we pulled into the parking lot of the Holiday Inn. Mr. Colvin found a spot close toward the entrance. Just before he turned the car engine off, he looked over at me and said angrily, like, I'm really not playing. I want my motherfucking money, Vernita. You ruined my life and I ain't got shit now. If you're fucking with me, please
Alexa, pause. Now let's be very clear, Detective Corbin Blue. You ruined your own life. She was in a hotel and you decided to pursue something because you had an inkling. No one told you to go rifling through her stuff. No one told you to be stupid enough to do it with people in the house who could say, oh yeah, the police officer was just in here. No one told you to go talk to the neighbor who could not keep a secret. No one told you to do this but you. So you get what you deserve, and you deserve nothing.
You deserve nothing.
You deserve nothing.
Sorry.
Like, he already started with the job being more important than everything, where you lost your family once. Then you lost your little side piece. And now you done lost this job that already cost you everything, but by all means, blame Vernita because, you know, it's her fault.
Right.
Like, child, get your life.
Like, anyway, so...
Right. What else is going on? Alexa, play.
To the cops and showed them everything. Whoa. Look, you ain't getting nothing from me until I'm done. You understand me? Just fucking relax. You ain't acting all irate right now for no fucking reason. Are you a motherfucking faggot or something? Bitch, don't call me no faggot.
Okay.
Well, what's the problem then?
Alexa, pause. In Pride Month?
During
Pride Month? Really? Bigotry? Unacceptable!
Cut the jobs.
Alexa, play.
Pussy is pussy. Man, fuck this shit. I'm not fucking you. That's some nasty shit. Got me all the way fucked up. Don't even know what the fuck I'm thinking. I'm in a really bad place right now, but this shit right here ain't worth it. Well, take me back to the nursing home then, nigga. Yeah, I sure fucking will. And bitch, you're going to jail. Fuck this shit. Nigga, they ain't gonna believe not a goddamn thing you saying. Besides, I'm calling your bluff. Motherfucker, you don't have the balls to run down to that station and run your mouth. First of all,
call it.
You broke into my house and stole that laptop. Besides, nigga, I've been diagnosed with late-stage dementia. I got medical records to back it up, ho. Ain't no prosecutor in their right mind gonna believe your weak punk ass. Soon as I said what the fuck I said to his bitch ass, he lowered and shook his head. Yeah, bitch nigga. You think I'm dumb or something? Now what you gonna do?
Right, you should have shut
got
up.
the money or not?
It got the money.
This ain't right. He howled out like a hoe ass nigga. This ain't right at all.
I like her.
Stop all that fussing. Boy, you don't even know what my body look like. Don't let that wheelchair fool you. My hip might be giving me some issues now, but I keeps my body in shape. My body looks better than the rest of these scalawags on the streets. Oh, God. This is fucking disgusting. I ain't fucking no old-ass lady.
Yes, you are.
Mr. Colvin cried out, punching the steering wheel of the car.
Yes, you are.
Stop making all that motherfucking noise. Fuck is wrong with you? I'm about to throw up. He quickly grabbed his mouth, opened the car door, and leaned out into the parking lot. Then I heard the sudden sound of him barfing up whatever the hell he had up in his stomach. This nigga was doing the absolute most right now. Some seconds later, he slid back into his seat and wiped his mouth. It ain't that serious, Mr. Colvin. Just drink the damn Hennessy, and when we get inside, I'll roll up this reefer. Jarvis got some good shit, too. After Mr. Colvin got us a room for the night, we quickly made our way to the second floor and down the hallway toward the room. I threw my Louis Vuitton travel bag down onto the bed and then went over to the window to close the blinds. Of course, I didn't want the world to see all the nastiness I was about to unleash.
Oh, God.
I marched back over to the bed and opened up my bag. It was packed with a change of clothes, some soap, perfume, toys, and even some lingerie. I was going to show this nigga what the fuck I was capable of once I got in the mood. Give me that liquor. Mr. Colvin barked as he stood near the bed. Where is it? The bottle was inside a plastic bag next to my bag.
Pause. In this story, they have phones capable of recording, right? Why didn't he start recording?
Because it didn't matter. She already is diagnosed with dementia. She said herself, she can't trust even what she says. It's not admissible in court regardless.
Right. Well, yeah. So now you're just doing it for the money, and if that's the case, shut up, or you don't get it.
They just shut up. That's where I'm at, y'all. Just
shut up, for you not get this money. You need this money. I'm in a bind, Nate.
And if I was her, I would just took what I had to take, and I would have went about my business. You wouldn't even got no money.
At this point, I would do it and still not pay you. I would do it and not pay you.
I already told you to shut up once.
Actually, more than once.
Okay.
Like, it's getting to the point where oh, we're going to do it. And I'm going to say I'm going to pay you. I'm giving you $25. Do with that what you
want. Just to hold you down for the
right. You want me to pay you $250,000 to hear you fuss about me?
Right.
Bruh. Alexa, play.
I grabbed it and handed it to him. Won't you go get some ice? Make yourself a drink and just relax. I'ma change and then roll this reefer up, I told him. I'ma just drink this straight to the head, he said, and without hesitation he popped the bottle open and took a huge swig. My face twisted with disgust. Damn, save some for me at least. I'm not even that tipsy yet. He screwed the cap back onto the bottle and sat it down on the table. He got in the bed, laid down and covered his eyes with his forearm. Shaking my head, I let out a chuckle as I grabbed a pack of cigars from out of my purse and grabbed a Ziploc bag of weed from my baton bag. I placed the cigars and reefer on the desk near the television.
She got a baton?
Before I opened up the reefer, I needed to make sure no one in the damn hotel smelled this stuff. Baby, this shit Jarvis got for me was loud as fuck.
Okay.
I flew over to the bathroom, grabbed a towel, and then rushed over to the front door of the room. I tucked the towel deep into the bottom of the door to ensure no smoke would escape the room. I marched back over to the desk, sat down and began cracking the cigar open, dumping the guts out into a nearby trash can.
Not the guts.
Then I broke that weed down and stuffed it into the cigar. I rolled up the nicest, fattest blunt I could. I shot up from the seat and went over to my pocketbook still on the bed. I pulled a lighter out and immediately lit up the blunt. Damn, you really gonna smoke in here? Are you fucking nuts? Mr. Colvin asked sarcastically, staring at me as if I were crazy. Still laying on the bed, he just shook his head as if I was out of my mind. Boy, stop being a pussy.
Hello?
I said back to him as I took 2 strong pulls and then reached over to pass him the blunt. Fine, he uttered as he leaned over, grabbed the blunt from my hand and placed it between his lips. I thought this was your first time smoking reefer. You lied to me, I said. This is my first time. Well, slow it down, partner. You gonna be spaced the fuck out. He took a long pull, then immediately started coughing. Pounding his chest, he wheezed like he was having an asthma attack. I told you. Pass it back to me. He passed the blunt back to me, and I took another 3 pulls. I passed it back to him and said, I'm gonna get changed. Be right back. I rummaged through my baton bag and quickly grabbed my lingerie, hairbrush, and makeup kit, and then made my way into the bathroom. Once inside, I quickly took off the blouse and jeans I had on. Then I unhooked this bra and slid out of my big-ass panties.
Okay.
I didn't need to take no bath either because my pussy stayed fresh and clean. I made sure of that. I then slid into my sexy-ass lace hollow steel prop bra. Although I hadn't worked out in quite some time, baby, my titties were still sitting upright and were still firm. I guess that jazzercise and water aerobics did something. My areolas were looking right, too. Hopefully Mr. Colvin was a titty sucker because I sure wanted my nipples sucked on. Then I slid into this matching thong. Luckily, I had just shaved. The thong was exposing my bare fat-ass pussy lips. I spent the next 10 minutes or so doing my makeup and my hair. Once I got done, I double-checked myself in the mirror. Showtime!
This is outrageous.
I danced out of the bathroom, making my way into the center of the room floor. You ready, Mr. Colvin? I asked when I saw that he was still laid out on the bed almost as if he was napping. Ain't no time for sleeping. Wake the fuck up, nigga. He took his arms off his eyes and then spun his head around at me. He sat up in the bed. His mouth was now flung wide open. Damn. I stood there for a second, perplexed by the look on his face. I didn't know if he was saying that because he was disgusted or because he liked what he saw. Damn what? I had to ask. Wow. I must be tweaking or something. Damn Hennessy got me bugging out. Suddenly I smiled. Nah, nigga, you ain't tripping. What you see is what you see. Now stop playing and get out of those clothes so I can gobble on that dick. He cautiously stood up and then proceeded to take his shirt off, his eyes glued to me. I just stood there with my arms folded as I analyzed his torso. He was a bit on the thick side since the last time I saw him, but I didn't mind me a little thickness. Sometimes those skinny boys ain't nothing but bones, and bone on bone was some uncomfortable fucking. He didn't have any tattoos. His chest was full of hair. Then he slowly unbuckled his pants and slid them down along with his boxers, instantly exposing his long yet soft dick. Damn, you ain't even hard yet and that's all you? My mouth flung wide open.
Okay.
Yeah. Baby, his dick was beautiful. It was long, uncut, and matched his skin tone. He had some long, big balls, too.
Okay.
Baby, I was about to be sucking on those nuts all night. Thank God he didn't have much pubic hair either. I hated when these Negroes didn't trim their shit. I didn't like sucking dick while pubic hair was getting all up in my mouth, cutting up my lips and whatnot.
I hear you, girl.
Well, lay down, because I'm going to show you how a dick is supposed to be sucked, I exclaimed as I strolled up to the bed. He laid down and covered his eyes again with his forearms. Now in the bed, I slowly crawled in between his legs. My eyes were glued to the dick. Once I arrived at the dick, I planted my head in between his legs and began to dance my tongue from his taint, up his balls, and then up his shaft. I held his dick in my hand and began to stroke it as I licked on his nutsack.
Okay.
You like the feel of that?
Please.
Oh, yeah. He moaned, his words a bit slurred. Sounded like that reefing liquor had his ass gone, child. Then he chuckled. What's funny? Damn, I can't believe I'm doing this. Well, believe it, I said, and without hesitation I began to slurp on his shaft, soaking it up with as much saliva as I could. Mr. Colvin thought this was just going to be a one-time affair, but once I blessed him with this nasty, sloppy head, I knew he was going to be crawling back to me for seconds and thirds, maybe even fourths. You already know how Vanita put the magic on these young boys. They can't resist.
And they can't.
3 hours later.
Ooh!
You like that, baby?
Okay.
How them walls feel? I purred as I slowly rolled Detective Colvin's long, thick pipe.
Okay.
This was just the medicine I needed to bring total healing to my body. Baby, I swear I had been struck by lightning because electrifying tingles shot down my spine as I took in all of his 8 inches. Child, I was just assured that my coochie had done dried up, baby. But my juices were soaking up this here hotel bed. That maid was going to have to change out this mattress. You hear me?
Yeah.
I couldn't keep a count, but I knew I had to have come at least 10 or 11 times. Hell yeah. Shit.
Okay.
Keep riding that motherfucker.
All right.
Groaned Mr. Colvin as he bit his lip and kept his eyes closed. See, I knew I'd turn his ass into a believer. Look at this nigga. His ass was enjoying every single motherfucking second of this pussy.
Alexa, pause.
Look at this nigga.
Look at this nigga now. I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. Y'all single women now.
Just reeking with them.
So she done sent him on a tizzy. And he, okay. Predictions. I think he gonna stick around. Like Kimani, you know how I be saying, you got some diamonds. I don't know what Vernita got. If Vernita is not playing with the children. And I love that.
She be on a mission. Do you hear me? She be on a mission. And all power to her.
No, because manifesting that is crazy.
Very crazy.
Alexa, play.
He and I both were enraptured in so much bliss. In fact, his fuck game was so on point that it was making me quite dizzy, actually. I would never thought some dick would have me feeling like this. Damn near psychedelic. If I died today, child, this was truly the way to go, you hear me?
Please.
Grinding hard, I wanted him to knock my uterus back. My hip was a bit sore, but luckily that reefer and Hennessy was making my mind ignore the slight pain. I was creaming so much on his dick and I wanted to get a taste of myself. So I hopped off the dick, got on my knees and began to slurp up all of my cum off his veiny dick.
Oh,
whoa, slow down. Mr. Colvin barked as he tried to pull my head up off his dick. But just like that, suddenly something wasn't feeling right. I started to get kind of nauseated. I clutched my chest. It felt like my heart was quivering. What's wrong? Mr. Colvin asked as he immediately shot up, looking at me with concern. Oh, I'm just a tad dizzy. I gotta use the bathroom, I told him as I got up out the bed. I took a few steps. I stopped and looked up at the ceiling. Then everything became dizzy. The light in the room suddenly became blinding. I stumbled a bit more and then just fell out. I couldn't produce any words. Then a bright white light grew in intensity in my eyes and I felt beckoned to it. This had to be it. I was dying. Baby, I done got me some dick, then died. What a way to get called home to glory.
Girl, I felt myself go. Pause.
Yo.
You, and say this with me as you clutch your chest, you're not going to glory. You're not going to glory. That light is just so you can see all the stuff you did, and then you're going to the elevator to hell. You're not going. Say goodbye to your loved ones. Alexa, play.
Going up to yonder.
No, you're not.
I tried to make out the words, but I couldn't say anything. My mind was beginning to draw blanks. Half my body felt numb. But then the light, which was so warm and welcoming, turned dark.
Yep.
Dread set in.
Here we go.
I knew I was gonna die. No, I can't die. My chest felt tighter. I had to live. Everything was starting to blend together, and I could feel life slowly fading away. I looked over to my right and saw Mr. Colvin rush over to his pants pocket and pull out his phone. He began dialing a number. Hopefully he was calling 911. He stood there, and when I was able to focus in on his face, right then and there something was off.
He did it.
His eyes became evil slits. He looked at me and said, "Sorry, Vernita." I tried my best to formulate words, but I couldn't say anything. The tightness in my chest increased in intensity.
He killed her?
Hey, Sade, it's me, Mike. I think the brownies worked. I heard him say, once she's out, I'm gonna dress her up and then bring her back to the nursing home, put her in the bed, and lock her room door from the inside. But let me get going because I gotta get there ASAP. That way her body doesn't start to look crazy. My eyes exploded with terror. They set me up. They killed me. I knew it. I knew something was off. Mr. Colvin hung up the phone and tossed it off to the side of the bed. Fuck. I gotta piss. Shit. Hurry the fuck up, Mike. He then stormed past me and dashed into the bathroom. I don't know what came over me, but I suddenly mustered up the energy to move. I slowly crawled toward his jeans in the center of the floor and grabbed a hold of them. That motherfucker. To my luck, that shady nigga's small pistol was resting comfortably inside the right pocket.
Everybody
I
got
pulled
to
the gun
die.
out, cocked it back, and then turned over on my back. The moment he rushed out of the bathroom, he froze like he'd just seen a ghost. I raised my arm, aimed it at Mr. Colvin. Shit, he blurted out, and before he could take cover, I pulled that motherfucking trigger. The sound of the gunshot popped in my ears, and for a second I blacked out. I reopened my eyes and saw Mr. Colvin now lying in the floor, completely motionless. Y'all ain't getting shit from me. I managed to squeeze out. A sudden heaviness overcame me and darkness swept me away. Epilogue. Vernita.
I knew there was something wrong with the brownies, though.
I slowly opened my eyes to the sound of a soft, angelic-sounding voice. My vision was hazy. I couldn't make out anything. Then I heard the sound of what had to be hospital machines chirping.
Is she still
I
alive?
was alive. The Lord done spared me.
Girl.
As my eyes adjusted to the brightness of the cold hospital room, I saw a young black woman hovering over me. "How do you feel, sweetheart?" Well, where am I? I painfully squeezed out through my parched lips, my voice scratchy. "You're in the hospital, dear. You're a survivor. You are an incredible woman," said the doctor as she gave me a wide grin. "What happened to me?" I asked as I scanned the room and noticed that the doctor wasn't the only person in the room. That trifling bitch Sade. Her husband Lamar and her kids were also in the room as well. A police officer was also standing guard. Some tall, handsome Denzel Washington-looking man walked over to me and said, "Miss Washington, I'm Commander Jenkins with the Chicago Police Department. I deeply apologize about everything that happened. We believe that, sir, with all due respect," the doctor interrupted. "I don't think it's the right time to have this discussion. Miss Washington suffers from late-stage dementia, and what you say may end up being very traumatizing. We also need to conduct some more routine tests." I deeply apologize," said Commander Jenkins. He looked over at Sade and Lamar. "Folks, I'll be out in the waiting area to follow up with the Orland Police Department. I'm so sorry for everything." Then he walked out of the room. On that note, now that Miss Washington is awake, we're gonna need to run these tests on her now. If you folks don't mind, can I have some privacy with her? The doctor said. "Sure thing, doctor," Lamar said, and then grabbed his kids. He glanced over at me and his entire face was flat with expression. Sade stood up and stared at me. "Can I just have a brief moment with her, doctor? I'll make it brief. I just want to pray for her," she said. My eyes turned to slits knowing that bitch was lying right through her motherfucking mouth. "Okay, but please, make it quick. The neurologist will be coming soon," the doctor said and then made her way out. Now it was just Sade and I in the room by ourselves. An awkward silence filled the room. "So you're not gonna say anything, bitch? After all the shit you put me through?" Sade growled. I looked at her and said with boldness, "Baby, I'm like that Tupac. I ain't a killer, but don't push me. Revenge is like the sweetest joy next to getting pussy. But I'm strictly dickly, ho."
Okay.
Sade suddenly exploded out of her seat and rushed out of the room without saying anything else. "Yeah, that's right, bitch. Oh, raggedy, nasty-ass bitch," I barked. I couldn't even believe she had the audacity to be up in this hospital room, acting like she was here to look after me in a time of need. Even though I resented the hell out of her, she didn't have to kill me. Especially when you consider the fact that her no-good-ass nanny set me off to do what I did in the first place. I didn't know what she put in those brownies, but I guess the Lord wasn't going to let the devil have his way with me.
Girl.
God wasn't through with me just yet. But I tell you this right fucking now. If that whore thought she was going to get her claws on my money, then she better think again. She wasn't going to get shit, and I'd already done seen to that. Why? Because when I was diagnosed with cancer and found out I was going to die, I had got all my affairs in order and left a secret will in my safe. All of my shit was going straight to one place and one place only. My church. Mount Moriah Missionary Baptist Church, where the Reverend C.N. Miller III is the presiding pastor. So whatever fucking shenanigans Sade and that motherfucking Mr. Colvin had up their sleeves wasn't gonna work any damn way.
I know that's right.
Although by now Sade was probably seething with rage, contemplating her next move. I just sat up in the hospital bed and increased the morphine drip running through me. A big smile came across my face because for the first time in a long time I felt a sense of relief. All my burdens were lifted off my shoulders. Why? Well, for some odd reason my memory came back in full focus. Everything was so clear now. And I had one thing on my mind that was so vivid. It was so clear I could see it like it happened yesterday. And that was the night of Sade's wedding on that raggedy-ass Carnival cruise. Baby, I didn't even fuck with Carnival cruises like that. I was a Royal Caribbean cruise riding type of bitch. Uh-huh. Yeah, Sade, I ain't like shit about your raggedy-ass wedding, but I'm glad I did what I did. That's right, ho. I'm so glad I fucked your husband on your wedding night. I laughed to myself.
Alexa, pause. She did sleep with Lamar Kimani. She slept with him on the wedding night. Oh, this book make me sick. You hear me? Alexa, go ahead and play.
And now that I think about it, His dick wasn't even all that. So have at it, ho. With them ugly-ass kids of yours.
Okay, now too far.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? That Lamar could eat the hell out of some pussy. I know that for sure. The nice black doctor strolled back into the room, and this time, some short white man with a bald head was to her side. Hey, Miss Washington. I'm Dr. Schilling. We're gonna run some tests on you now. Pauline, I want some hoghead cheese and saltine crackers. Run up to the store and go get me some. I blurted out, faking like I done had the dementia. Don't worry, Miss Washington. We're gonna take really good care of you, the doctor said, and all I could do was lay back and just laugh. But just when I thought I was feeling good, my mind began to draw up blanks once more. Everything became fuzzy again. Where am I? Where's Mama? This has been Old Thought Next Door, written by Quan Mills, narrated by Karma.
Audible hopes you have enjoyed this program.
You done? And that's the end of the story.
Why would they end it like that?
Why would you end it like that? Because there is no Old Thought Next Door Part 2.
Because that was my next question. Is there a part 2?
No.
Because what happened to the police officer? Well, the ex-police officer.
She killed him. That I know. It is known.
It's not, it is known.
It is known, Khaleesi. All right, so...
Like, they was gonna talk about how he got in touch with the girl.
Right. How did him and Sade get together? Now, he did, I don't know if it's true or not, say... Vernita, and I don't think it's true because he probably would have slept with her if she was. Great, grand nephew. I don't know that to be true. I don't care for how the story ended.
Yeah, they put us through too much to leave it like this.
Right. No. Like, that's not how you wrap up a story. Let me write a letter to Congress, because... No, man.
Well, I'm still got some explaining to do.
Quan Mills. Let me message her on Facebook. Because what is that? What the...
What's that? Alright, y'all. So, y'all heard it here first. Then that was the end of the story. We heard it just as you're hearing it, we're hearing it. So...
Let me talk to my people, too, because... I don't know what to tell you. The story started off so good. Then it kind of went, Then it came back and got good. But the end, like, from the moment they introduced the detective, they lost me as an avid reader. The end was terrible. I'm glad we did get the resolution to see that she knows she has dementia, but she's faking the severity of it so she doesn't get any consequences. Other than that, they should have made... like, why leave it like that, per se? Why? Now we're all in limbo because we don't know what the hell is going on. And that I don't like. All right, y'all. All right, so I'm going to finish my makeup look and then I'll be right back with y'all. All right, so this is the final look. Get into it a little bit. Get into it. Back up just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. All right, so on the actual eyes today, we used only 2 palettes, which I'm so proud of myself for doing. We used the Blends palette from Blend Bunny. If you didn't know what it looks like, here you go. Take your little looky-loo. We literally only use the shades Depth, Mama Bear, and Truth, which are these 3 browns here. Depth, Mama Bear, and Truth. That's it. And we cut the crease, and then over top as a topper, we use the Danessa Myricks I Am palette. The shade I chose to use today was Brave, which is this shade right here. But again, if you've never seen the palette, here you go right here. This palette is literally just toppers and whatnot. The lashes come from Blinkbox Co. On the lip, you have the Cream Coal Pencil by Huda Beauty, mixed with a little bit of Dante, which is a rule breaker from the crayon case. And as the lip gloss chosen today, it's the Extra Light Almond from the Nudes of the World lip gloss collection. I mean, what else? The hat is from Crafted Contours. If you're interested, send me a message on Instagram or here, honestly, like under the video. I'll answer it. The contour, yes, I always forget. Contour is from Contour is from LYS, which is Love Yourself Beauty. My shade is Courage. The actual blush for today, though, I've been dipping back into my old friend Milk, and I use these. The shades are Swerve and Flip, and it's a multi-use little nugget of a stick, but it's like the orange to the pink. Yeah, love that for me. Also used, of course, my One Size setting powder, and it's all over the place right now, but the highlight is Glow Cane from Crayon Case. What else do we use today? I think that's it. The eyeliner. Oh, I like that. The concealers and other contours we use today, because I don't use just one. Concealers come from Milani, and my nose contour comes from Milani as well. Cut my crease with products from Thread Beauty. Eyebrows, I'm not going to mention because I'm not supporting that company right now, but argue with someone else. Mind your business. But that's all I got for you today. I had a really good time. In regards to the book, I don't, let's talk about it. Let's get deep. First of all, back up just a minute. Yeah, that's good. The book. Not happy where it ended. Not happy at all. So we left off where she's in the hospital. Detective Colvin is dead. Detective Colvin and Sade were working together. How I think they got involved, she probably hired him as a PI, and he just got in a little too deep. He tried to, he bid blind, and she called his bluff, and there was nothing he could do. Sade apparently made her some brownies that had something in them, caused her to go into an attack where she thought she was going to glory. I don't know how many times I have to say it. That woman ain't going nowhere near glory, aside from orientation just to go back downstairs. What I wish would happen. I wish there was a second book. I checked, and I don't think there is one. So for that, I'm mad. How I would rate the book on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll probably give it like a solid 6.5, 7. It was okay. The writing was The voice acting, though, the voice acting is what sent me to glory, because you can tell it's one person doing all these voices, so she did her best. The next book we're actually going to be reading, I forget what it's called, but yes, I do have that book already picked out, and that's what, hopefully, depending on how my mood is that day, you'll get it next week. Let me see if I can find the title. Oh, When the Side Nigga Catch Feelings. That's the name of the next book, which I'm here for. So if you made it to this part of the video, this is officially the end, as well as it's the end of the book. I want to thank you so much for sticking out to this point, but don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell. That way you're going to be notified every single time I post a new video. And until that time, bye, friend.
Julie, do the thing.